the thing that concerns me is just knowing how limited the firepower that we have over there actually is. And again, it's a lot, but it's not a lot in the context of a war with Iran. You have to look at it and say, well, what would be the goal then? Like, what is it we're actually trying to achieve if we're going to go do this? Because having another 12-day war where Israel gets a bunch of their city blocks blown up by ballistic missiles and it all just kind of ends in a stalemate or whatever, like nobody really wants to do that. If we're going to get into this, it's going to be a purpose to it, I imagine. And the only way that that kind of firepower, that limited amount of firepower that we have on station over there is going to affect anything like regime change or is if they start really taking out like the highest government officials. And at that point, man, like, you know, and if the Iranians are thinking that way, and if the war starts to go that way, where, you know, they just hit the president, they just hit where they thought the Ayatollah was, you know, whatever. I mean, they're not gonna, there's not going to be any more of this sort of telegraph de-escalatory stuff like they did at the end of the 12-day war after we hit the nuke sites. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna decide that the only move they have is to go down fighting. And you know, and if you know a little bit about the Shiite mentality, specifically the Shiite mentality, that means a lot. That means something to them, you know, that idea of going down fighting. You know, we're all hoping it doesn't come to that. I was watching the news today because, you know, like Trump's other military escalations in various parts of the world always seem to come on Friday after the market's closed, so that it doesn't, you know, crater the stock market the next morning, gives them a few days to work. But nothing's happened so far. I'm grateful for that. And I really hope that it doesn't. I know we've got allies over there that, you know, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Oman, that are very much trying to warn us off of that, mainly because, not because they're buddies with Iran now, but because they mainly think that, you know, Iran's wings have been clipped to the point where they're not a massive threat to the region right now or to them. And so they just think this would be inviting the potential for chaos when it's not necessary. And hopefully they're able to prevail on Trump and get this thing called off, because it does look like we're heading in the direction of war.